Welcome to BizTechTalk. I'm Darrel Bowman.
And I'm Mel West, your business advisor. Thank you for joining us today and every Tuesday from noon to 1 for BizTechTalk, where we're hosting discussions with local and national business leaders.
Throughout our show, we're going to be talking to a variety of high-tech professionals and business professionals about the latest technology and business trends which are happening today and coming tomorrow. And hey, you know, we've been having some very, very good shows this last few weeks. You know, we had World Trade Center on last week with Anthony Hempstead talking about what the economic development impact is for the World Trade Center in your community, and we learned a heck of a lot about import-exports.
Talked about Facebook and using it in your business. And
well, listening to Ron Hansen there, I call that the RH factor now. The guy is doing awesome, you know, and to make sure that, you know, you always carry someone around that can be your Cobra, if you your Cobra decoy, your Cobra decoy, as he was explaining in Africa. And for those of you who missed that show a couple weeks back, go check that out. It's kind of a funny story. So anyway, as we always do, we always talk about the things that we think are most important in our community. And Mel and I, you know, we spend a lot of time as service-disabled vets ourselves, reaching out to the veteran community and seeing what we can do to support that. As such, one of the things that I've done is create a festival that's coming up here, and there's going to be more about that. So it's called CFest for Charity Festival, which is C, capital F-E-S-T, and go to net.net. So cfest.net. Check it out. Get involved. Check out the opportunities for you as a vendor, you as a volunteer, and so forth. We're hoping to benefit 100 plus charitable organizations. Now, CFest is specifically designed to support the Northwest Events Commission, whose mission is to help service-disabled veterans, cancer victims, and their families when they struggle with the horrendous set of bills and economic hardships that they sometimes endure. So our mission is to alleviate those, especially in and around our communities. So we'd love to have you join us and help out.
And Darrel, not only is this a benefit for the military and the cancer victims, but this is also a way for these nonprofits to also raise some money for themselves.
Oh, exactly. I mean, the whole idea is that we're going to synergize by helping each other, getting the people out to the event and minimizing the cost for the event. Actually, as a nonprofit, you can actually make money getting into the event, and, you know, we can actually together, each of the nonprofits that we're having there can get 100% of all the proceeds right back into their coffers. We have found that one of the events that we are copying, the Art, Wine, and Seafood Festival in Astoria, Warrenton, they tend to make all of their budget in one event for the entire year. So that's a pretty good model to follow, and we're bringing it right up here, up the coast. So we're going to have juried art. It'll be a nice little Washington wineries, and then we'll have a great amount of seafood so that we can have a maritime festival theme, if you will. And again, you know, we want to invite all the nonprofit organizations out there to help us. And then if you've got somebody who has some really cool art that you think belongs in a living room or in a yard that has a maritime theme, bring it on. We'd love to have them apply and see if they qualify. So, you know, the Art, Wine, and Seafood Festival called CFest we're going to have it at Point Ruston, right down there where the old Asarco mill used to be. So it should be fantastic views of the city, the sound, and the water, and just a great way to have a party to start the summer on Memorial Day weekend in 2013.
Well, that sounds fantastic, Darrel. And speaking about, you know, this is something that's about building community and having people involved in the community. Another way for us to help build community is to help our military veterans that are coming back, getting involved in the community. And, you know, we talk a lot about this. Every show we talk about it. In the past, we've talked about that $9,600 tax credit. And one of the things that
That's right. You get that if you hire a vet, up to that much if you hire a vet, depending on how long they've been out of work.
And there's 5 different qualifications that goes along with that. But one of the things that many of the business owners may not know is that there's a 28-day period where they need to submit that information to the Washington State Employment Security Department, and they will certify that veteran qualifies in order for them to use it on their 2012 tax return.
Oh, so you could be doing it right now and benefit from, you know, right away. So, you know, I think it's get on it, people.
Well, and there are
vets out there who need that opportunity, and you know what? We have it. And the economy seems to be actually taking a turn for the better. I mean, today we're going to find out a little bit more about that with Denise Dyer from the Economic Development Department at Pierce County. She's going to tell us about that, the role of the Economic Development Department in your community. And, I'm sure she's going to share some of the upward mobility that we're having around our community and hopefully around the country as well.
Well, speaking of economic development, why don't we go ahead and pay a few bills and allow some of our sponsors to develop themselves, right?
Fantastic idea. I'm Darrel Bowman, your IT professional.
And I'm Mel West, your business advisor, and you're listening to Clay 1180.
CloudSway removes the hassle of small business financial management. Easily upload receipts, bills, invoices, POs, and other business expenses through your mobile device, email, or scanner. CloudSway automatically scans your data and matches each transaction to your bank and credit cards. Invite staff to send their corporate receipts, allowing the team to contribute and collaborate, managing all company financial data in one location. CloudSway's reports and alerts help to guard against fraud and expense abuse. CloudSway makes it easy to protect your company's most prized possession, its financial security. Visit cloudsway.com.
Few things say more about your business than the quality of the photos in your ads and on your website. Corporate photographer Rick Doms specializes in custom photography for discriminating corporations around the world and right here in Tacoma. Rick's photos have graced the pages of Forbes, Fortune, Barron's, the Wall Street Journal, and the marketing materials of a host of great American companies. Companies like yours. See what Rick Doms photography can do for your business on the web at rickdoms.com. RICKDAHMS.com.
Are you tired of maintaining or upgrading your business technology year after year just to keep up? Moore's Law states technology will keep getting faster and smaller year after year. Office N and Icon is making Moore's Law obsolete by giving you infinite computing power. It's always new with unlimited resources. It's fast, affordable, secure, reliable, and flexible with endless CPU, RAM, and hard drive. Never worry about a virus, upgrades, backups, or patches again. With Office N and Icon, your office is anywhere at any time from any device. Unleash your power at OfficeNandIcon.com.
AimBiz.com brings you the life of a business website. The majority of business websites can't be found by search engines, so their owners lose customers and money. An AIM Business website wins new customers on Google and Facebook. Imagine your website with great content management, an integrated blog, clean designs, and clear messages. To top it off, at aimbiz.com, you get a free website design mock-up before you ever spend a dime. For more information, go to aimbiz.com. That's AIMBIZ.com.
Welcome back to BizTechTalk. I'm Darrel Bowman, your IT professional.
And I'm Mel West, your business advisor.
Hey, don't forget, every Tuesday on Clay 1180, we're here from noon to 1. We're also at BizTechTalk.net, and you can listen to our shows. You can download our podcasts on iTunes. And you can email us with your comments and suggestions. We really do look forward to talking to you and understanding what it is that you think is going to be a great topic for your business to grow it. And today, we think we got a great show today where we've got Denise Dyer. She is the director of the Pierce County Economic Development Department. She works on a variety of projects that affect the county's business climate. She's out there providing direct service to each of the county's businesses, and I'm sure she has lots of counterparts throughout the country who do the very same thing. She's a member of the board of directors of the Washington Economic Development Association, the World Trade Center of Tacoma. Well, we had Anthony Hepstead on last week, talk about that, and the Tacoma Regional Convention and Visitors Bureau. She's also the county's representative to the Greater Seattle Trade Development Alliance. She's also very proud to be an honorary commander of the Fightin' 4th Airlift Squadron at Joint Base Lewis McChord Air Force Base because, hey, that's great, involved with our military and our community as well. She's recognized by the National Development Council as a certified economic development finance professional and is a graduate of our local University of Washington Tacoma school right here. And, hey, when she's not out working, she actually loves to spend time with her husband, Dan. Imagine that. Hiking, camping, traveling, and taking time out on their boat, which, hey, I think that's kind of cool. And you're enjoying the Pacific Northwest, and welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay. Hey, did you get a lot of time out on the boat this year?
We did a lot of hiking this year. We haven't actually spent a lot of time on the boat.
Oh, so you're just writing that check for mortgage for, to make sure that you get to that boat every once in a while.
That's right.
I do the same thing. I'm just wondering when I'm going to get out, even though the beautiful weather and all. But hey, we really are excited hearing about economic development and what the organization can do for each of the businesses in each of our communities around the country. So tell us, why does a county or a city or an organization have an economic development department? And really, what is that? What's the purpose?
Well, I think it actually started because of the fact that most of the folks who work at the county don't wake up every morning to think about business or what the effect of what they're doing actually does to business. So back, 24 years ago, the county actually started an economic development department, and so we've grown over time. It started, I was actually the first full-time person hired in economic development at the county, but it's really so that the business climate of Pierce County actually is conducive for businesses to actually locate here.
So what you're saying is when we say, oh, I want to go develop this big project, you're going to say, let's try to see what we can do to get this project to happen rather than to say, well, those regulations say no, sorry, go somewhere else.
Absolutely. We work really throughout the county to get the other folks at the county to really think about economic development and what the impact of business is.
And would you be fair to say that a lot of folks, no matter where you are in the country, probably have some similar situation, cities and counties?
They do. In fact, even throughout Washington State, there's a number of what we call ADOs, or Associate Development Organizations. In our own community, it's the Economic Development Board. In King County, it's Enterprise Seattle. In Massachusetts, it's something else. So there's a lot of folks who really have recognized the importance of business. And businesses are mobile today. So we want to keep the ones we have here. Businesses can locate, it used to be anywhere in the area. Now it's really anywhere in the world with the internet and other resources. So we really work and we compete with each other to keep the businesses we have and to attract new ones.
Well, we know how mobile they can be. I mean, let's look at Boeing, for instance. I mean, people used to think that, oh, they have to build those planes right here, not a big deal. Well, they up and took their headquarters to Chicago, where they don't have any airplanes building, and they're moving their plants around because it's the smart economic thing to do. And so everybody's kind of competing for that business. And you would think that massive airplane that they're doing, that it would be more stable in a location. But like you just said, they're pretty mobile.
They are very mobile, and we work hard. Boeing is, of course, very important to Pierce County, and we have the Frederickson plant, about 1,500 people employed out there. But not more important, but equally important are all the suppliers we have in our community. So we have a lot of aerospace suppliers, from companies that do machining to service companies to a number, about 60 of them.
So there's a big ripple effect when that happens, and so it's important for us to be thinking about the mobility and giving what's the longevity of these people. We want to make sure that we maintain that. Just don't get kind of fat and happy that, oh, they're here, they're never going to go anywhere, because the reality is they could at any time. Anybody could at any time. So I'm not just speaking of Boeing. Any major organization has that mobility today.
It's very scary to me. I went out to visit a business out in Frederickson. And I actually followed somebody, a few folks in suits left the building before I got there, and I went in. They said, "Oh, do you know who that was?" And I said, "No, it was the governor of South Carolina who had actually come trying to attract the company to come to South Carolina." So it's really important that we appreciate our businesses.
They seem to be doing a lot down there because they're getting quite a bit of business that are attracting to South Carolina. Maybe we could take a page from that book to find out what they're doing, because it sounds to me that they seem to be pretty attractive to a lot of the companies around the country.
They are, but Pierce County and Washington State still remains a great place to have your business, and we work every day to make it even better.
I agree with you 1,000%. Just that, we can always learn from our competition about how to improve our businesses and our operations.
Speaking of, kind of that inner working, Pierce County, you work at the county level, but we know that we have city levels and then state levels and so forth. How do those all interwork together so that we can
so they're not competing against each other
in, like, Washington State, or like with South Carolina, where they're coming to court, these businesses?
I'm sure we're going to South Carolina to court people too. That's a wink and a nod.
I actually just got back from England. We went to England to try to court some businesses to come here.
See how you are? I mean, we're not bringing Airbus here, are we?
No, they announced they're going to Alabama.
See, but they are coming to the U.S., so okay, we'll take those jobs too.
Yeah.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah, actually, if you really think about it, economic development of Pierce County, at least at the county level, is 7 people. And there are about 20,000, we're north of 20,000 employer firms. We cannot meet with each one of them.
No, that's kind of a big job.
Yeah, it's really important that we collaborate with the city economic development folks, the Economic Development Board, the World Trade Center. You mentioned a few of them, the CVB, the Convention and Visitor Bureau.
Exactly.
There's more than enough work for all of us to do. And at the state level, the Department of Commerce, we work with them very, very frequently. And what what people really don't understand is we don't duplicate each other's work. There's, like I said, there's more work than any of us can get done. So we've sort of all carved out our niche, what we're expert at, and that's what we work on.
Now, speaking of that niche, what do you guys do to help the businesses in the area?
I'll give you a few examples. I've got one guy on my staff, Joe Phillips, whose purpose in life is to help businesses get permitting and to help them through that. A lot of folks don't think about it, but you've got a business that's going to build a new building, for example. They're great at making widgets, but they may only build one building in their life. So they
don't really know all the ins and outs, and they need somebody to walk them through, right?
And Joe walks them through. He does a great job at that. And working with companies who are affected by various regulations. I've got a guy whose sole purpose in life, Kevin Clegg, he's out calling on businesses, what we call our business retention and expansion program. We've got a database of about 2,000 businesses. He actually goes out. The most important thing he does on a daily basis is tell businesses thanks for being here. I've got somebody who does a loan program. Believe it or not, we have a small business.
You help with loans too?
We do.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Sherry Clark does a couple things. One, she works with bankers to get them the knowledge about doing government loan programs for SBA, the 7A program, the 504 program. And then we have a below market subordinate loan program. We can actually do loans to small businesses. We've back 23 years ago, we got a grant of about $200,000. We've made $7 million in loans out of that. So we make the loan, the business pays us back with interest, we loan it out again, and
what a way to revolving and really help out the economy. Fantastic.
Right. And we also,
and just a little bit of the qualifications on that, because Mel and I have had lots of shows about loans and getting money out there for people, because it's one of the toughest things for a small business is to get a hold of cash. So tell us a little bit more about that, how people approach you and what kinds of businesses can do that and be successful.
We've got a brochure that outlines all of the various government loan programs on our website. Probably the best way to do it is just call Sherry Clark directly, 253-798-6916, and Sherry can walk you through the programs. She knows what's available where and whether you're going to qualify. In our program, we always work in partnership with banks, so we don't compete with banks for our loan programs. So like I said, those are below market programs. They're government loans, so yes, they come with some strings, but she'll walk you through those.
Now, are these used for, like, say, down payment assistance and stuff like that, where maybe somebody, like, with the loan to buy real estate, they wouldn't have the full down
for
payment?
A 504 or something like that?
Yeah.
Where you need to have a piece of a change on your own when you get that loan, and you still want to, so you kind of between a rock and a hard spot to get that expansion.
Right. A lot of times what the banks will require for down payment, if the business pays it, they don't have enough money for the working capital. So they can't buy the plastic to make the widget. So we're the piece that comes in behind there and actually helps with that.
And this is actually available in most communities around the country, right?
It really is. Some communities have chosen to, because in Washington we have to use federal money. We can't use any local money because of the Washington constitutional prohibition against what they call the lending of credit. So because it's federal, some communities have chosen not to do it, but we see great value in it, and so we have continued to do it.
Well, it sounds like it works really well. What are some of the different things other than maybe that working capital other businesses have used that for?
We just did a loan. Company bought some major pieces of equipment. We've done real estate purchases. We've done inventory. We tend to do only term loans, so what you might think of as short-term money, working capital, accounts receivable, and that. There's always a permanent investment in that. So we can fund that permanent investment. We don't do any short-term loans. We don't have the capacity to do like lines of credit.
That money's always being turned over and churned and so forth, but you also have to survive and so forth and have a funding source. So how does one in your department actually compete with the dwindling amount of funds that we have in government and the ever-increasing amount of police and court needs? So what do we do? How do you compete for that, and how successful do you get? Or is it self-funded? How's that work?
Well, fortunately, we've been very lucky that we have an executive and a council that actually believe in economic development. And you can't have money to pay for cops if you don't have businesses paying taxes. So
it's a chicken and egg thing.
You got it. And if people don't have wages, if they're not actually drawing an income, they can't go to the store and pay sales tax. And it's sales tax that funds courts and cops, if you think about it.
Yeah, it is.
And it also feeds the crimes if you don't have good wages, right?
Absolutely.
So if you have a business and you're outside in maybe England or wherever, and you're saying, hey, I want to think about this really cool area out here in the Pacific Northwest with the mountains and the water and all the other diverse opportunities, how do I go about finding out how to move down here and what I can do? Where do people contact you on that?
When we have when we have a new business come in, we always refer them to the Economic Development Board of Tacoma-Pierce County. They do a fabulous job, and one of the beauties of working with the EDB, most companies want to remain confidential when they're coming into a community. They either don't want their existing employees to know they're thinking about moving, or they don't want their competition to know it. And everything I do is open to public
disclosure laws, yes.
Exactly. So
and the EDB, being a private organization, nonprofit, has the ability to maintain that confidentiality.
Right. And, I mentioned that we all have niches. The EDB has a fabulous niche in helping new businesses come into the community. And so they'll work with them on accessing tax credits, on loans, on finding a location. They send out a site search specific to the business needs. And so either by coming to the Pierce County website, we have a direct link, or going directly to the Economic Development Board for Tacoma-Pierce County's website.
So if I just want to expand my business in Tacoma-Pierce County, I would come to you and work with you directly?
Absolutely. You can come to us. You can come to the EDB. You can come to the city where you're located, because we have great relationships with those cities, and they'll usually refer them to us. We'll refer them to technical assistance providers if it's necessary. If they need help with a business plan, we'll work with the SBDC, those kinds of things. If it's just somebody looking at expanding and may have a question about zoning, those kinds of things, we'll do it. But we'll either do it or we'll get you in touch with the expert.
Now, before we go any further, there was a couple other areas that maybe we missed on roles that you guys play. You talked about 3 of them. What were the other 2?
We do, one of the things we do that I think is a fabulous service is we've got a guy on staff, Rob Allen, who does data and statistical analysis. So he can work with the business directly to figure out customers and where the best ad buys might be for location, from where the customers are coming, those kinds of things. But Rob can provide a lot of information that way. The other thing we do that I think is really cool is we realized we couldn't get out to see every business, but there were some real topical issues that we needed to get the word out about. So we put on about 4 forums, that's what we call them, a year. It might be on doing business with the government.
I just signed up for one. I remember.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Doing business with the government, for example, we bring in all the federal, local, state agencies to help businesses get contracts with the government. We spend a lot of money at the government, so to get some of those contracts. Or international trade, or Hans is doing one on 3D manufacturing. So
I think he's doing one on trade too.
Yes.
That was one I signed up for recently.
Okay, great. I'll look forward to seeing you there.
Yeah.
But so we do those educational forums. When the state did, here's a great example. When the state did everybody was calling them the Boeing tax credits, but they were really the aerospace tax credits. They were available for any commercial airplane manufacturer. We did one. We found out that at least 50% of the people in the room didn't even know they qualified for them. So we do these educational, topical things. Kevin will...
Yes, because they have some part, like you say. Right. They're not completely doing the plane, but they have some aspect into it. So that makes sense.
Right.
Hey, speaking of credits, why don't we go ahead and take a little bit of break?
You're so good at this, finding the right spot. Really, it's like credits. We got to pay some bills. We're going to do that.
Let's pay some bills and give our sponsors some credit for BizTech Talk. You're listening to BizTech Talk and Clay 1180.
I'm Darrel Bowman, your IT professional. And don't forget, I'm here with...
Mel West, your business advisor. We'll be right back.
In today's economy, doing more with less has become the standard. Feeling overwhelmed or out of control does not have to be part of that standard. If you are looking for improved profitability and better teamwork, West Business Concepts' expertise in sales, organizational development, and finance offers real-world solutions today. West Business Concepts helps you develop clarity and focus on who matters most. Gain an edge over your competition. Visit westbusinessconcepts.com today. That's westbusinessconcepts.com.
I know you've been thinking about adding video to your website. Don't put it off any longer. Your customers are about 75% more likely to purchase your product after learning about it in a video. Gabe Medina Productions is ready to help you put a face to your business and show your customers why your company is the better choice. We want to work with you because we want to see your business grow. Go to GabeMedinaProductions.com or call 206-250-0735 for more info. That's 206-250-0735.
Be a part of Tacoma's Waterfront Association, a dynamic organization dedicated to making Tacoma's waterfront a great place to visit and do business. Join them the second Wednesday of each month from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Crow's Nest at the Tacoma Yacht Club to hear exciting guest speakers and see what's happening on the waterfront. Be a part of the community strength. Make a difference along Tacoma's magnificent 46 miles of waterfront. For more information or to become a member of the Tacoma Waterfront Association, visit tacomawaterfront.org.
In Pierce County, 17% of residents are food insecure. That's 1 in 6 people who are unsure where their next meal is coming from. Someone you know is going hungry. What can you do about it? Help support Fish Food Banks of Pierce County. For every dollar received, Fish's 8 food bank locations can distribute $7 worth of food to families in need. To learn more about stopping hunger here in Pierce County, go to fishfoodbanks.org. That's fishfoodbanks.org.
Hey, welcome back to BizTechTalk. I'm Darrel Bowman, your IT professional.
And I'm Mel West, your business advisor.
But I think we told you that just before we left the break anyway, didn't we?
Hey, welcome back.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
We're here every Tuesday from noon to 1.
We are, and today we are with Denise Dyer, as again, the Director of Pierce County Economic Development Department. She is telling us all kinds of great stuff about getting our businesses, well, to grow using their support and across the country, all the ways that they can do. You can use your economic development department. And when we left, we were talking about different programs and the roles and so forth. But tell us about obstacles. I mean, are there any obstacles that one might have to jump over at not only Pierce County but whatever your jurisdiction is that you're in, and you guys can help out with?
Well, a couple things come to mind immediately. One of them is businesses tend to open a small business maybe in somebody's garage, and they don't realize they're out of compliance with the local zoning regulations.
You mean my garage can't make cookies in there? Are you trying to tell me that?
You got it. You can give them to me, but so making sure that you're in an area that's actually zoned to allow your business, because that's much simpler when you go to grow. So contact your local jurisdiction to make sure, because there are some regulations that you've got to comply with. The other thing I think of as an obstacle, and it's more when we're trying to recruit businesses, is just the perception of the business climate here. A lot of folks will say, oh, it's the worst place to do business because of the state business and occupation tax. What they fail to forget is we don't have a corporate or personal income tax.
Oh, we don't. Boy, that just goes way down, doesn't it?
So, that's an issue. And there's a perception of the environmental regulations and what that's going to do to or for a business. One of the things I always say is it's a great place to live, and therefore it's a great place to do business. But so people just, contact the local agency and really figure out what the impact is really going to be on them.
Back in the 70s, 80s, and so forth, Money Magazine did a really big article on franchises and the success of franchises and around the country. And I thought it was really telling, because I remember reading this article way back when where they said, the success rate is an 80-20. And they said that, but we had this huge success rate that was beating the odds in the Pacific Northwest. And it was telling, because it was all about the relationships that people build in the Pacific Northwest are different than the relationships they build anywhere else, because people tended to start businesses and then they kept their relationships as they grew. They didn't go, well, I got a penny savings here, I got a penny savings there. They work with the people they get to know and they get to trust, and they all grow together. So this is another impact that I think is great in this community. We all seem to grow as a community, which I think that is starting to catch on around the country, but here I think we fostered that way back then, and Money Magazine recognized it. So we're still doing it.
What are maybe some of the other pluses of doing business here? Why do businesses come here, and why do they stay?
Besides the fact that we like each other.
That's right. We like each other. The other thing is we have a great workforce. One of the selling factors we use is, and you mentioned earlier, the veterans. Those folks coming out of the military, and JBLM is one of the bases, folks ask to be their last duty station so they can live here when they get out. These folks have incredible skills, and employers are looking for those skills. Or some folks are looking for somebody who's not looking for a career. Trailing spouses are great folks to work when you need an employee for a year or two.
We got the Hometown Heroes program right here that you can contact the workforce development people. They will help get those trailing spouses you call and put them to work. great program.
Yes,
So,
and we have a great workforce development council. I'd put them up against any other in the entire nation. They really help both the businesses and the folks looking for work. So, our local workforce agency, I think, is really great. We have land. A lot of folks don't have land available for business development, and so, believe it or not, that's important. The fact that we have sewer and water capacity, a lot of the country can't claim that.
Too, yeah.
Bandwidth is another one. So I think that's some of the things.
We have we have electricity coming out our ears. We have the cheapest electricity anywhere in the country. If I'm not incorrect, am I?
We do have some of it. Eastern Washington's a little cheaper than we are over here, and that's why they've gotten.
I love those people, but it's hot over there.
That's right.
At least this time of the year, and then it's cold. The other part.
But hey,
right?
but they're great people. It's a great area and so forth. I think that you got to take your business to where you think it's appropriate, and we have all that we think is important. We talk about Boeing as their impact. We've had shows in the past where the trade centers talked about the port and the trade and all of those. But what other industries are important here to Pierce County and so forth? What are they to our areas? Because we're pretty diversified.
Yes, and you cannot underestimate the impact of those bases in the military. We think it's about a third of our economy, and the beauty in that is it's really a stabilizing influence on our economy. Where other states or regions will go way up and way down, we kind of float along there at the same because of the military impact. That's huge. Because of the port, logistics and trade is really, really important.
And it's growing still.
Yes, it is. With the new announcements at the Port of Tacoma, plus the fact that it's a natural deep water port, and they do such a fabulous job down there, and they have such a good reputation. That's important to us. Aerospace is really important. Services are important. Believe it, in this region, government is extremely important. Both the military, but the schools and the folks like me.
Speaking of schools, how involved are you, the Economic Development Department, involved with the education system? And that's got to be a huge pull for businesses.
Yeah, where you live is going to be important to raise your family.
The quality of our education is always one of our issues, and so we're in Olympia advocating for K-12 education as well as beyond K-12. That's important. It's not the priority issue we work with. It's more the employer relationship with those educations. So working with Clover Park and Bates and the other colleges for workforce access is the primary direct contact we have. There are other folks that are working directly on the workforce issues, but education is critically important. The number one factor typically with businesses, what's the most important thing to you? It's their workforce. So
exactly.
That comes out of education.
Secondly, though, is where I live and raise my family, right. So that the K through 12 is going to be important for me as well, because not all businesses for all their employees can afford to put their kids through a private school, and I wouldn't think we'd want to, because we want our communities to have great schools and so forth, and that's another selling point, because we do have a lot of great schools in the area.
We do. We really do.
Well, and speaking of K through 12, that's one topic. But then once you go above that to higher education, is there an area in the state or when you think about the nation that has this many higher education schools in one area?
I don't think so. I mean, think about it.
We got 5 community and technical colleges, about 4 universities, and growing every one of those things, and they're at capacity. So I think we're doing okay.
Plus private schools on top of that.
Oh, so. Yeah, we didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and I'm talking private schools and private universities and
right.
so forth. It's nuts.
Well,
so with all that growth, what about our infrastructure? Are we able to continue to support that?
Pierce County's building a huge expansion to its sewer treatment plant, and that's not the sexy part of economic development, but anytime you've got water coming in, it's going out of the business sometimes. So the fact that we have that capacity is critically important. I think our biggest downfall is transportation. Yeah, we've got to improve our We've got to get 167 completed.
Mel and I were talking yesterday about sewage treatment and so forth, and Mel was going, we should get Bill Gates on the show, and I said, well, he's doing something these days about getting a toilet. But it's, even though it sounds funny, that's an incredible thing about sanitation. And so you're right, having that ease of sanitation in the sewers and the water access is important for everywhere, and we're fortunate to have all that.
Speaking of sewer, Pierce County has a kind of an interesting byproduct of your sewer, right?
Was it Tegro?
That's the city of Tacoma. Okay. We have Sound Grow.
Sound Grow.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what, that stuff really works.
Well,
if you go down there, you pay your $3-4 for a bag, a 50-pound bag of it, and throw it on your yard, and you'll have the greenest lawn.
I think Soundgrow or Tegro. I think the components are pretty much the same, are they not?
I believe so, and I can get you a tour of the plant if you so desire.
You get your formula from
Somebody
Tacoma. You
in,
stole that,
right?
I think. Oh yeah. Oh no, Tacoma has a lock on what. But that Soundgrow, Tegro, more and more city communities around the country are building their plants to develop that, and you take that waste treatment and turn it into a positive, aren't they?
Absolutely. Another offshoot of our sewer utility is Chambers Bay Golf Course. And the fact that we can use reclaimed water, that's sometimes one of the most expensive things of golf courses.
Really? We got to water the golf course. Speaking of which, the U.S. Open is coming, and how are you guys working on that project?
We are so excited. I've been actually working on that project since before the USGA announced, because working with John Ladenburg, who really worked with the USGA to bring him here. My boss, Kevin Phelps, is actually going to be the direct contact, and he's the one working on this thing. But I don't think the community really fully understands the economic impact. This is like landing the Super Bowl for 5 days in a row. Yeah, this is awesome. We're
going to actually have a show to talk about the economic impacts of a professional golf tournament in the community, i.e. the U.S. Open. So, we've talked to a couple of folks out there. Maybe we can share some of the contacts out there and get that full hour here that we're looking for. We talked a little bit about that earlier. But it's coming up in the next few weeks. We'll be talking about that to prepare our community. And you know what?
Well,
pretty
it's
much
amazing.
Any community needs to hear that is going to host any professional golf tournament for the very first time.
Well, and golf is important in business. I mean, and I think that's going to be another one of our shows in itself, is just how do you navigate and network on the golf course.
The
because
etiquette
it's
of business on the golf course, exactly.
So I think it's going to give us an opportunity not only to talk about the economic impact, but also some of the side things that happen beyond that.
So, speaking of side things, tourism. Now, the USGA and the U.S. Open is going to impact us hugely in the tourism area, but other things are doing that as well. How are we doing in that area, growing our tourism? We're talking on the Tacoma Waterfront Association about cruise ships. So, what can we do to grow that, or are we growing it at a rate that's, enough?
Part of it is just getting the word out about why this is a great place to visit. You've got the museum district in downtown Tacoma. You've got each community has a draw. Gig Harbor, you only have to go there once and you figure out that it's a great place to go visit. Sumner, I was recently there and spent more money than I certainly had planned to do because there's all those great shops.
Oh, they love that.
And Mount Rainier, come on. This is one of the world's draws, really, is bringing people into Mount Rainier. So we've got a fabulous convention and visitor bureau. New executive director, Benish Brown, who's just really lighting the fire under tourism promotion.
Hey, speaking of draws, this is maybe another good place to take
draw.
A break. Maybe not a cash draw, but let's take a break and pay a few bills. And when we come back, we can continue talking about tourism. You're listening to BizTech Talk on Clay 1180.
CloudSway removes the hassle of small business financial management. Easily upload receipts, bills, invoices, POs, and other business expenses through your mobile device, email, or scanner. CloudSway automatically scans your data and matches each transaction to your bank and credit cards. Invite staff to send their corporate receipts, allowing the team to contribute and collaborate, managing all company financial data in one location. CloudSway's reports and alerts help to guard against fraud and expense abuse. CloudSway makes it easy to protect your company's most prized possession, its financial security. Visit cloudsway.com.
Few things say more about your business than the quality of the photos in your ads and on your website. Corporate photographer Rick Doms specializes in custom photography for discriminating corporations around the world and right here in Tacoma. Rick's photos have graced the pages of Forbes, Fortune, Barron's, the Wall Street Journal, and the marketing materials of a host of great American companies. Companies like yours. See what Rick Doms photography can do for your business on the web at rickdoms.com. RICKDAHMS.com.
AimBiz.com brings you the life of a business website. The majority of business websites can't be found by search engines, so their owners lose customers and money. An AIM business website wins new customers on Google and Facebook. Imagine your website with great content management, an integrated blog, clean designs, and clear messages. To top it off, at aimbiz.com, you get a free website design mock-up before you ever spend a dime. For more information, go to aimbiz.com. That's AIMBIZ.com.
Be a part of Tacoma's Waterfront Association, a dynamic organization dedicated to making Tacoma's waterfront a great place to visit and do business. Join them the second Wednesday of each month from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Crow's Nest at the Tacoma Yacht Club to hear exciting guest speakers and see what's happening on the waterfront. Be a part of the community strength. Make a difference along Tacoma's magnificent 46 miles of waterfront. For more information or to become a member of the Tacoma Waterfront Association, visit tacomawaterfront.org.
In Pierce County, 17% of residents are food insecure. That's 1 in 6 people who are unsure where their next meal is coming from. Someone you know is going hungry. What can you do about it? Help support Fish Food Banks of Pierce County. For every dollar received, Fish's 8 food bank locations can distribute $7 worth of food to families in need. To learn more about stopping hunger here in Pierce County, go to fishfoodbanks.org. That's fishfoodbanks.org.
Welcome back to BizTech Talk. I'm Darrel Bowman, your IT professional.
And I'm Mel West, your business advisor.
Hey, we are here with Denise Dyer, and we were talking about tourism and economic development in our communities. So, as we left, we were talking about the U.S. Open and different tourism and the factors there. What are we doing again, and how's that affecting us, and what can we do? We talked about promoting it, that kind of stuff. So, tell us a little bit more about how tourism is affecting us and, the kinds of things that are happening out there that economic development is doing for us.
Well, think about why you like to live here. It's because it's a beautiful place. It's because there's a lot of things to do. So if everybody here would think about this region when you're thinking about, like, where should a conference be? We all belong to different organizations that have conferences. Try to get them to come here. Work with the CVB. They'll help you do that. When you have guests from out of town, don't take them up to Seattle. Take them to the Museum of Glass, or take them to out to Puyallup to the farms.
And for you people in Seattle hearing this, just ignore what you
sorry.
say.
Sorry. but
and the sun is always shining here.
Yes.
So, okay, and you were saying, I'm sorry.
Well, that's okay. Just, think about all the things that make the entire Puget Sound region great, and, get people to come here. And when people come from out of the region, our economy goes up, and that's important. We like other people's money.
And we have, what I like to say is we got, in this area, around the country, we're very, very fortunate to have 46 miles of waterfront that actually go around the city of Tacoma, which is the outskirts of most of Pierce County, if you will. So from that perspective, we've got one of the longest coastlines of most cities in the U.S.
To bring up Chambers Bay again, 2 miles of waterfront just opened with the bridge to the beach. The bridge that we built down in the Central Meadow that
just
goes
opened?
across.
That's an amazing, almost an untouched. Get down there quick while you can still get the shells.
It's fabulous. It really is a great place. And so you've got the waterfront, you've got the water, you've got the mountains. Where else can you get off your sailboat and go climb a 14,411-foot mountain? It's pretty cool. We've got a really diverse county.
Hey, speaking of diversity, and one of the things that I like to tell people is when they're asking me about the areas, is we're an hour from anything you really want to do, short of professional basketball. Have you guys been involved with bringing a professional basketball team back to the area?
We actually were consulted, or we did some stakeholder interviews when they were talking about what to do with the Tacoma Dome, and even this what's going on up in Seattle. So, yeah, I'd like to see professional basketball myself. What about those Rainiers?
Yeah, very cool. Well, we've got some great baseball out here, and they're fantastic. And, it's a farm team for the Mariners. So, again, and that's America's pastime, and every community has that.
Just finished up the season on Sunday, right? Or what? They got a couple of away games now, but they finished up their homestand on Sunday.
How much of an economic impact are the Rainiers and so forth on the community? And, for those people that have AAA ball teams and so forth, they want to attract them. So what is that?
It's one of the amenities. People want to know what we have here and what you can do if you come here. So that's one of the things. I don't have a number. I could get you one, but I don't really know what that number is. But it's important.
So we know that those are the bright spots. What are the bright spots in our economy that are happening today? Where do you see us? Things are growing, and do you see us turning around and moving in the right direction here?
I do. We're really, as we talk to business, what we're finding out is that it's kind of stable now. Folks aren't as worried as they were about, so people are more optimistic, and so there's more purchasing going on. There's more equipment being purchased. People aren't being laid off, which is really important. Kind of stable employment right now. I'd like to see some additional hiring. We've got some new businesses coming in. Carlisle Manufacturing is going vertical. They're in the construction phase of building that new plant out there. Over 100 folks are going to get jobs because of that.
Oh.
So
what's that about?
There's a new manufacturing plant that the Economic Development Board and us worked on to attract this company here. And so this is an international company. They're going to be building construction components, roofing structures, really, and worldwide company again. That one of the very few new manufacturing plants being built right as we speak.
So they take it and they use the port to ship. I take it.
They use the port. They use our local workforce. It's
rail lines and trucks and all that.
Yep.
Now when we
rail was really important.
When we talk about the port, and I know there's a lot of discussion that's going on, with the port and all the transportation. How involved are you guys with that piece of it?
We work with the port constantly on issues such as rail access, trains. We're big advocates of removal of at-grade crossings for both transportation and for the rail infrastructure. We have companies that really need that port access, so we use that as a sales tool for bringing new companies in here. And we hope our local companies are using the Port of Tacoma to get their stuff around the world.
Oh, that's very cool. Now, what are some of the other things, as we get ready to close up here, what are maybe some of the other things that you're working on that we haven't talked about?
Aerospace is big. We're looking at doing a small business district program to work with very small businesses. It's something we've never had the luxury of doing, but council actually gave us additional money.
Small business district, what does that mean?
Tacoma has them, for example. They have their 6th Avenue district kind of thing. We're going to do that. So we're going to look at districts around the county and do a couple pilot projects to see if we're really having some value add for those very small businesses that we traditionally don't go out to see. So I'm going to add some staff capacity in my office that we're actually going to do that. That's a big one. Aerospace is huge. Boeing is working with their suppliers. That's a big one. Logistics is huge as the port gets bigger and has more customers. Trucking, and then the service businesses that my son works at a company that does lube and oil of trucks. So you think about, it's not just one layer of employment. It's all the way down through the factors that support those businesses.
Yeah, fleet management and so on and so forth.
Well,
right.
That trucking industry, I mean, we had a guest on that was from the trucking industry, and the margins are razor thin, and they're highly regulated. So it's got to be a challenge being able to help them out as well.
The basic premise of economic development is the development of jobs. Folks need to work to support themselves, to pay for cops, to pay their taxes, to eat, and so that's really what we work towards every single day.
Well, is there anything else that we need to get in touch with you and other economic development places around the country? We would just just Google economic development in your local community and go there. But you also have any special things on your site that need to be addressed?
We've got a list of all the tax incentives available. Just go to our website, and it's got all of our contact information, and we're happy to help.
Now, where would we find that website?
PierceCountyWA.org/EDD for Economic Development Department. Or if you just go to any local website, put in economic development or business assistance, you'll find where to get your information.
Well, fantastic.
Well, very good. Well,
it's been really great having you on the show, Denise. We thank you so much for coming here and talking to us about that. We're going to look forward to finding out how the U.S. Open is going to shape itself here in our community in coming years, and what we do as a community to meet that challenge, because like you said, that's a 5-day Super Bowl and more.
Absolutely.
And So, hey, thanks again. And, as always, Mel and I like to close out the show talking about getting veterans hired and so forth. But I want to remind you, we are going to be putting on CFest. That's capital C as in Charlie, F as in Foxtrot, E as in Echo, S as in Sierra, T as in Tango. And if you're military, you get that. So
and
CFest,
if you're not,
it's cfest.net. And, get an application to find out how you can volunteer, how you can get involved as either a booth or a volunteer. And see what you can do to help support your community, because C doesn't just stand for charity; it's also community, it's caring, and it's giving back. So,
and what's it going back to help out again, Darrel?
Service disabled veterans, cancer victims, and their families. But that's the mission of the CFest organization. But it's also, we are not limiting ourselves to that. The charitable organizations that will be involved in there, whether they're delivering food, whether they're delivering wine, or those kinds of things, those people are going to get 100% of their money back, and for whatever food they sell and so forth. So it should be a great little synergy. We've got kind of a great festival atmosphere planned.
Speaking of vendors and charitable organizations, how many do you look at maybe joining up with CFest and partnering with you to provide?
About 140 to 160 right now, and that's a combination of art, wine, seafood, and then some specialty booths and so forth. So if you fit in those categories, you're definitely people that would fit into the cfest.net portfolio. Check it out, download the applications, and see what you can do to be a part.
And do I understand that there's not going to be a whole lot of overlap in what's going to be there?
Oh, absolutely. The coolest part about that is we're going back to a menu where, everything's under $5 and nobody has a competing menu item. So all the food items will be uniquely different. So something that nobody is going to be competing against. And once again, join us and hire a vet, seek out a veteran-owned business, and do what you can to support those who have supported you in this nation's freedoms. And Mel?
Well, thank a veteran who served us, and you're listening to BizTechTalk, Clay 1180.
See you next week. I'm Darrel Bowman, your IT professional, and
I'm Mel West, your business advisor.
Thanks for joining us.
CloudSway removes the hassle of small business financial management. Easily upload receipts, bills, invoices, POs, and other business expenses through your mobile device, email, or scanner. CloudSway automatically scans your data and matches each transaction to your bank and credit cards. Invite staff to send their corporate receipts, allowing the team to contribute and collaborate, managing all company financial data in one location. CloudSway's reports and alerts help to guard against fraud and expense abuse. CloudSway makes it easy to protect your company's most prized possession, its financial security. Visit cloudsway.com.
Are you tired of maintaining or upgrading your business technology year after year just to keep up? Moore's Law states technology will keep getting faster and smaller year after year. Office N and Icon is making Moore's Law obsolete by giving you infinite computing power. It's always new with unlimited resources. It's fast, affordable, secure, reliable, and flexible with endless CPU, RAM, and hard drive. Never worry about a virus, upgrades, backups, or patches again. With Office N and Icon, your office is anywhere at any time from any device. Unleash your power at OfficeNandIcon.com.
In today's economy, doing more with less has become the standard. Feeling overwhelmed or out of control does not have to be part of that standard. If you are looking for improved profitability and better teamwork, West Business Concepts' expertise in sales, organizational development, and finance offers real-world solutions today. West Business Concepts helps you develop clarity and focus on who matters most. Gain an edge over your competition. Visit westbusinessconcepts.com today. That's westbusinessconcepts.com.
I know you've been thinking about adding video to your website. Don't put it off any longer. Your customers are about 75% more likely to purchase your product after learning about it in a video. Gabe Medina Productions is ready to help you put a face to your business and show your customers why your company is the better choice. We want to work with you because we want to see your business grow. Go to GabeMedinaProductions.com or call 206-250-0735 for more info. That's 206-250-0735.